Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
G'day, you good motherfuckers.
Hello.
What's going on?
Yeah, another episode of Send It Mate. I'm Josh.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Ryan.
And this week we have a very, very special guest for our listeners out there in fucking Radio Land. He's actually a childhood friend of mine, and he met Caleb once and didn't like him. Ryan wasn't born yet. He was in Baghdad when Ryan was in his dad's bag. So, yeah. Anyway, all the way from the USA, ladies and gentlemen, we have Chris Heenan for you today. G'day, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Pleasure.
No problems at all.
Can't say it's a pleasure, but it's good to see you. Ugly face. How you been, bud?
Yeah, good.
Smashing life?
Yeah. Things have changed a lot probably since we last saw each other, but yeah, just going with the flow, trying to live a decent life and not be shitty.
Good philosophy.
No, just be a little less shit. That's all you got to strive for.
That went my answer for best advice question later.
Oh, fuck.
That's right. You can change it. All you need to do is put Caleb at the end of it. Sorry.
I don't think that's advice. I think that's just how to direct abuse at me.
Directed advice at you, Caleb.
Well, thanks, mate. Well, I'll tell you, something that's changed considerably since I last saw you is your accent. It's a unique blend. We had a bit of a chat about this before we started recording. And it does sound pretty funky. There's definitely some Australian twangs in there, but the old US accent is... So you're in Texas, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I can tell a bit of that's coming through as well, but then, yeah, it's I don't know. It's all over the shop, to be honest. How do people go trying to understand you and where you're from?
So kind of a mix. I'll occasionally get the one that will straight up be like, "Oh, you're from Australia, aren't you?" I'm like, "Shit, lucky guess." But then I'll get some that as soon as they hear me, they're like, "What the fuck is that? You from New York, Boston?" And then the other ones that come up are obviously NZ and South Africa, and then the occasional one from England. So at this point, after, what's it been, 14, 15 years, and a lot of dumb experiences and drinking mixed in with the two accents, I'm just convinced that I have this weird wheelbarrow of of vocal ability now.
Jesus, your voice has definitely gotten deeper, man. But I mean, the last time we were chilling, you hadn't hit puberty yet, but that was last week.
Yeah, well, because we've linked up post-military. We linked up in 15, didn't we? Something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you come around. Yeah, come to Adelaide for a beer or two. Yeah. But it's certainly changed since then. It's gotten a lot thicker. Jesus. I mean, you were working on an onshore rig at that stage, and you were working with a lot of South Americans.
I wouldn't say onshore rig. It was natural gas treating. So kind of same field, but a little different from oil. Mostly working with Mexicans because it's the oil and gas industry in Texas. But yeah, pretty much since I got back in 13, most of my work's been around working with people in the southern states.
Yeah, right. And, well, this is going to lead into some get-to-know-you questions, so...
Well, shall we just get those happening then?
I feel like we
find
should,
out
because I'm just going to start asking them anyway.
Well, let's find out about the man before you start getting your burning questions happening. Mate, where are you originally from and where are you now?
So originally from Adelaide. I've been in North Texas since 2008. Moved over the States a little bit, but majority of the time was in Texas, and then settled in 2015-ish to North Texas.
Well, we got to ask, why did you originally go over? What was the thing that lured you over there to the US?
I mean, at the point, it was really just given the opportunity. Yeah, I think when the idea or the prospect first came up, I was maybe even 15. And it took a couple of years to come to fruition, but it was more if I don't do it now, then I'll never have the chance to do it. So my old man had moved over and went from a work visa to a permanent residency. And I was under 18 at the time, so I was one of his dependents. So essentially I could get over like that. If I waited until I was over 18, I have to apply for myself. And I figured, you know what? If I don't like it, it's fucking easy. I can just jump on the plane and go back home. But if I don't go there, then I'll never have that opportunity.
And this also set a chain of events in motion that changed your life, actually.
Getting as far away from Josh as possible.
Yeah, and he suddenly knew what love was.
Well played.
No, yeah, you had a series. This pretty much led into a series of events to where you are now, and a very, very crazy and fucked up life.
Yep.
Why don't you run us through what happened once you were over there as a kid? Like what was the twists and turns that you endured over there that Josh was talking about?
So let's see. I had to do my last year of high school over here. So I moved over, did my last year of high school.
Quick interjection. Did you either get put into lockers or did you put other kids into lockers? Like the movie.
So I went over with the mentality of, hey, this is going to be rough. I remember seeing all this shit on TV on how schools can be. And you remember I'd been going to Russ Smith in Adelaide. So pretty rough school. So first day, yeah, I'm walking up and one of the yellow school buses are a real thing. I was like, fuck, Simpsons was right. and then I was just under the mindset of like, oh, fuck, we're going to be in fights again. I was like, I don't know who it's going to be. I was like, because I don't think it'll be the Lebs over here. I was like, but God, it's going to be all this shit. And then as soon as I got there, it's just a massive culture shock. They have police that stationed on the schools, at least, for a lot of them, and just fucking all over the place. And main thing that really got me, and I was a fucking little shit when I was over there, but it was great because at the time I could just, whenever I fucked up, I could use the excuse, I'm foreign. I don't know any better. They're like, oh, he's so cute. He's right.
This is what we do in Australia.
What? They're drinking
I got to take note of that one. I can keep using this excuse. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a massive, massive culture shock.
So what was it? Was it easier than what you thought it would be?
I wouldn't say easier or harder, just different. Now, it was odd that they start high school a year later over here. So what is it in Australia? You start with your 8th grade and then go through 12.
Yep.
So over here, your 9th grade in school is your first year of high school. So when they were looking at my the transcripts of everything that I'd done, they're like, "Fuck, we don't know how to read this. Like, what the fuck is social studies?" And I was like, "Well, that's kind of a bit of geography. It's, and then it's self-explanatory. It's social studies." And they're just like, "Yeah, we don't do that." And then so they got real nitpicky on shit that I'd done or hadn't done. So you've got obviously list of prerequisites, so all the courses you have to have done before you can graduate. So there's American history in there, and there's American politics and government. So in 1 year, I had to catch up and do several years worth of testing for that. But then at the same time, I had to redo all the fucking classes that I'd done in the 8th grade. So, for instance, you have to do 2 years of a second language, and did 2 years of German back in Australia. But earlier than that, and I think this is a difference, is Australia does, at least back in the 90s, starts second languages a lot earlier. Mm-hmm. Like I remember, it was 3 years of Chinese, a year of French, and like year of sign language, and then the 2 years of German. Mm-hmm. And then when I came over to the States, I was like, "Hey, I've done all this," and they're like, "Nah, you've done 1 year of German. Like, you're going to start again, or you're going to do advanced German." But I hadn't spoken a fucking lick of it in like 3 or 4 years. Yeah. So yeah, real struggle on that aspect of things. But at the same time, they were like, "Oh, you have to do basic geography." I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "I've pretty much done advanced geography." I was like, "It's just all the classes actually called geography ended after the 8th grade, and then we went into SOS and all that shit." Mm-hmm. Yep. So like, nah, kind of get fucked. You're doing it our way.
Like, yeah, that would be hard, man.
It's pretty rigid by the sounds of it.
Yeah. And how did did that affect your integration to social groups and stuff like that as well?
Yeah, I was definitely the kind of the awkward kid there for a while. I was just like, all right, I don't know American sports, so like, yep, no, don't have anything in common with with the jocks. Like, not goth, not a nerd. It was just like, at the time, it was just like, well, fuck, during lunch, like, we'd kick around a footy and be little shits and, smoke cigarettes behind the shed and then run off if somebody would try to find us. I was like, all right, where's that group over here? I'm like, fuck, they don't even know what a footy is. So, yeah, it was definitely kind of like wandering around, almost clueless. Yeah, at least initially going like, all right, what are the do's and don'ts? What can I get away with here? Like, what are the big no-nos? Mm-hmm. We found out swearing in class was definitely one of those ones. Well, obviously, Josh, when we went to the same school and your dad was teaching, feels like a lifetime ago. He obviously would never really cuss at us. I mean, he doesn't cuss at all. But then, going to the transition from that then to Ross Smith was, a teacher would call you a cunt to your face. You're like, oh, all right, like this is a rough one. So after years of that, it's just like a natural reaction where you occasionally swear in class. And I think it was my first class in like American history or something like that. Or I think it was American history. And this sweet old teacher, the typical old like American granny, in her 70s, real patriotic. Everybody was doing their intros for like the first day of, hey, here's who I am and blah, blah, blah. So it came to me, and I was just like, "Oh, hey, I'm Chris. I'm from Australia," and then everybody's pretty like, "What the fuck?" And immediately, they asked me. They said, "Oh, what do you think of Steve Irwin?" And I couldn't even like, yeah, great dude, but I mean, kind of a bit of a knob for the effect that he's had on Australians being overseas in different countries. As soon as they said that, I was like, oh, get fucked. He's a fucking cunt. And the whole class just looked at me. And I was just like, what? I was like, oh, you guys don't like the C word. I was like, my bad, guys. Like, I really didn't think that one through. So within like 5-10 minutes of being in this class, I was sent to the principal's office. We sat down and they're just like, we're going to call this one Cultural Differences.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, this transition might take a little bit to get used to. I was like, sorry, that one snuck out. Can't promise it won't happen again, but I'll try my best.
Well played.
All right, so fast forward, did you go to college?
I did either 1 or 2 semesters. Then decided it wasn't for me. During that time, I was in the reserves, and either during the second semester or right after I'd finished it, if I did finish it, we activated to go downrange.
So what was your unit?
123.
Army, Navy?
Yeah, so that was in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Marines? Very nice, very nice. Where'd you end up going?
I did Afghan.
All right, so walk us through this, because this is where your life sort of gets a bit crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucked up when you were born because of your face, but now it gets crazy. Shetty's off camera.
So, let's see. All right. During the year of high school, I went into something called the delayed entry program, which is at that point, I was just like, fuck, what am I going to do?
That's a sex move Josh practices.
Delayed entry.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Oh, shit.
Sorry, I can't help myself. Keep going, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. So went into the depth during the last year of high school, which I'm actually convinced is why I passed that American history class, because I had been miserably failing it. And I was giving it my best, but I was just like, fuck, I don't know this shit. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as the teacher found out that I'd enlisted, she like ran up and gave me a big hug, and all of a sudden my grades all went to an A+. I was just like, oh, this is the greatest. I gotta take advantage of this while I can as well. So finished high school, and then within it was like 3 or 4 days later, I went shipped off to boot camp, which was in San Diego. Spent 13 weeks there, I think is how long boot is. Then actually had that got 10 days of leave, then went off to School of Infantry for another couple of months back out in this time in Camp Pendleton, so a little north of San Diego. Then after that, I think that was the first time I went back to Australia for a few days. That's when Ali graduated from ADFA. Mm-hmm. I think we linked up that time, Josh.
Yeah, I'm pretty
sure. It's been like 09 time frame.
But Ali's your sister. Ali's your sister, for those who don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, vision's a little hazy. There's been a lot of events, many of them involving drinking since then.
Good God. We started drinking at a young age, man. That was terrible. Those were some weird days.
That's Australian.
Who the fuck lets their kids drink at 13?
Wait, is that your old man?
No.
They didn't mind as long as it was done in their house under their roof.
Well,
Really?
Josh, it's better than my mum thinking that you were trying to get me addicted to drugs when I was 12.
Yeah. I don't even
Little
know
did
what
she
a
know
drug
that
was.
he had you down by the time you were 16.
I don't even know what drugs were. But anyway, so you've joined up. You've
Done some training.
done some training. You've come to Australia. How come you didn't go full time?
Yeah, so I'd been debating it. Now, when I went into the depth, I moved over to the States towards the end of August 2008. Was trying to work out what I was going to do. Now, to preface it, prior to this, like a year or two earlier, I'd spent a couple of months in the States to kind of at least get a feel for things. So after I'd moved over, I had to get started at school. So about a week after moving to the country is when I was starting that year in school. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks after that is when I went off to the delayed entry program. So kind of things were going, real rapid fire. Within 3 weeks of moving over, I'd already signed my enlistment papers. Well, when I was talking to all the different recruiters, and I went to all of the National Guard, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and Marine Corps just seemed like the one that was right. Or their recruiters used the best witchcraft to trick me at the time. But one big thing, which one of the sales points, if you will, that they'll try to use on these 16, 17-year-old kids, because a lot of them have never left their hometown, will be, hey, you're going to get to travel and you'll be stationed somewhere else. So he went, hey, if you go active, he's like, man, you could end up in Hawaii or Okinawa with the Marines. And as soon as he said that, I was like, nah, fuck that. I think I'm good. I'm going to go talk to the National Guard. And I got up and started to walk out. And he's like, whoa, hold on. We've got this thing called the reserves. Are you interested? I'm like, do I get to stay in Texas? And he's like, yeah, until you decide to transition to active duty or move to another unit. He's like, I guarantee you'll be, your home base will be in Texas. Mm-hmm. So, after only being in the country for 3 weeks, I was like, yep, fucking sold. Definitely going to go that route.
All right. So you've joined up, you've done your training, your reserves. Take us what happens next.
Yep. So reserves, that's where those couple of semesters of college came in. At the time, I was looking at becoming a paramedic. So I was, I was chomping away at that for a little bit. Once you enlist over here, and the rate of the benefits varies depending on how long you've been in and who you've signed up for. But I had government assistance. The VA was paying for my college at the time, so it was going pretty good. I was doing the 1 weekend a month training. The 2 weeks a year would have the annual training. So at that point, pretty much just being essentially a college kid, just working a little side job in retail, enough to buy booze and smokes and have a little fun, but not really any plan moving forward. Then randomly out of the blue one day, when we're at annual training, we all get called in, like each company, because we're outfield at the time, and they're just like, hey guys, make the phone calls, everybody make sure that will's in place. They're like, we're going to Afghan, we leave for California in 2 months. So yeah, we got activated to go over there. I guess we got activated in 2010. So yeah, I'd had about a year of doing the college kid shit and the reserves on the side, and then right in 2010 is when they went, all right, hey guys, shit's getting real. Playtime's over. We're activating. This is your life now.
So Cali is your pre-deployment training.
Yep. Yeah. So we went to Camp Pendleton for that, and we've got a couple of different locations. There's 29 Palms, which is in I think it's Nevada. Camp Pendleton, which is one of the main Marine Corps bases over here, and then Camp Lejeune, which is kind of the other version of Pendleton, but it's on the East Coast. So us being west of the Mississippi River, this dictated that we'd go to Camp Pendleton for our pre-deployment training.
Was it 20? The other one was 29 Palms, did you say?
Yeah.
Fuck, that sounds like a bloody... Where you going? I'm going to the 29 Palms. Yeah.
Sounds like a resort. Yeah.
Ritzy.
Oh, so it sounds great, but it's kind of the laughing stuff. It is the biggest shithole base that there is.
Really?
It's out in the middle of the desert. There's you'd be lucky if there's 2 or 3 palms there, let alone 29. It is a complete fucking dump. Like everybody that gets stationed there is just like, fuck my life. How do I get out of this?
What did you do for fun? If it's such a shithole, how did you entertain yourself?
Oh,
out there at 29 palms?
Yeah.
Well, you drink a lot, and then I think you're underestimating how creative bored Marines can get. To find ways to entertain yourselves.
oh yeah.
How much shit got blown up?
Shit gets fucking pretty squirrely. Oh dear. So how'd you feel when they were like, all right, fucking, you going up?
So it was, at first I was like, nah, they're probably fucking with us. And, they're probably just looking for augments. And they'll take elements of the unit and maybe attach them to other people. So I was like, I'm not getting my hopes up too much just yet. But fuck, when they announced it, let's see, I'd just turned 19, and gone through all this training. So at that point, especially at that point in my life, when like, hey guys, we're going down range, it was just fuck yeah. Like, all right, let's go get some. Let's put this training into use. This is gonna be fucking awesome.
And let's face it, man, you would have been the token Aussie guy, so you would have made the Manning list pretty easy. They would have been like, oh, Chris Heenan, oh, he's Australian. Oh, fuck yeah.
That'd be like, oh, he can be cannon fodder if needed.
Right, so you're all fucking G'd up. You all got battle fats going on. What happens next?
So we do probably it's either 6 or 7 months of pre-deployment training in Cali, which varied to its effectiveness. Yeah, I'm sure would like to be like, yeah, man, we're fucking getting at it every day and running CQB drills and doing immediate action 9 lines. But Josh, you and I both know the military is not that effective, and half the time you're just like, man, I'm like, how many times can I go to the gym and is it bad if I start drinking like before morning PT?
Can I break 8 cranks in one day? Can I go for 9? Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Where can I crank and get away with it?
Oh yeah, especially when you're staying in squad bays, because you're like, oh man, as long as they're not awake on the top bunk, like it's not good. Really.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh shit! Did you ever go to like stop in TK at all?
No. We when we finally went over, we went down, and so I was out of Helmand pretty much the whole time.
You did.
So we went right into Dwyer, and then we convoyed south of there.
So you didn't have you didn't go to like a main base to get any of your final kit or anything like that?
Oh yeah, no. So what we ended up doing, we went from Cali over to Ireland, where they stopped at I think Shannon Air Force Base in Ireland. Stopped there for a couple of days. The one thing I remember from that was fucking hilarious. So they put us 2 to a room, just staying in a regular hotel room for like the 2 nights that we were there. And this kid, I can't remember his name, but complete fucking redneck. Great dude. Never been until we went to Cal, like until he got to the Marine Corps, he'd never been out of Louisiana. So he has no idea that there's different electrical voltages in different parts of the country. So tries to plug his US phone charger into the wall outlet, in Ireland and just shocks the absolute shit out of himself and has no idea why it happened. But he's just like receptacle goes in wall. He's like, why did it hurt me?
That there wall hurt me on my thumb.
So yeah, a
Pretty
couple of days there.
boy.
Then we went to Kazakhstan. So we were there for this is where shit got a little fucked up. On the way there, we'd been told, hey, you'll have time to get your cold weather gear and your warming layers out once we get there. But there's not enough room on the jet itself, like in your carry-on area, to bring it. So they're like, hey, don't be buddy fuckers, just wear your regular camis in the jet. Once we get there, we'll pull the bags. It'll be cold for a little bit, but as soon as we pull the bags, you guys can get all your cold weather gear out. Fucking nut. So we land there. It is minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm pretty sure that's right around the same level where like Celsius and Fahrenheit match back up. So it fucking freezing. So we get there, and at the time, I'm a boot. So I'm pretty sure you guys use the same term over there in the Aussie military, Josh. Like the newbies and the especially before you get some experience under your belt, are always considered boots.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, all the boots, they go, all right, everybody unload all these bags. Then we'll get you in, we'll get you in somewhere warm and get you guys something warm to drink and some food. That took like 4 hours to get these bags unloaded. At which point I'm going like, man, I was like, this fucking sucks, man. I was like, we're not even in Afghanistan. I was like, I just spent 4 hours out in minus 20 degree weather, unloading these bags. Fucking feet were killing me. Every step you took was like you were getting stabbed in the feet. So everybody was really fucking miserable. We get all the bags unloaded. They get put into this warehouse. They finally take us into these giant tents there, which probably have 1,000 bunks in them, just all in a row. They're starting to get food out, and they're like, "Hey guys, you're going to be here for probably 3-4 days. Once weather's cleared up and once they're ready, then we'll load the bags and you guys will go down range." Man, we're in there 20 fucking minutes, and they come in. They go, "There's a clearing in the weather. Pack your shit. You're going to Afghanistan right now." At that point, like I'm pretty strong, mentally and emotionally. At that point, I was just like, no. I was like, it's fucking cold out there. I just want my coffee. Like,
There's marshmallows in it and everything. This shit's fucked.
So we go pack the bags again, and at this point, still not getting any of our cold weather gear. And pretty much everybody's got the boo-boo lip and everybody's acting pissy. And just like, fuck, well, shouldn't have even signed up for this stupid shit. Like, god damn it. Just everybody's being fucking pissy. So yeah, another couple of hours later, after we get everything packed, we are on the, we transitioned from a civilian jet airliner over to a C-130. And then, I think from Kazakhstan, it's like a 2, maybe 3 hour flight down to South Afghan, where we went at, which, it's just, crammed in there like sardines, everybody getting fucking pissy when, one guy next to you lets it rip and nobody can fucking move. Everybody, looking for spit bottles and, just fucking around. A couple of guys were reading books, a couple of guys, playing the Game Boys or whatever. And then I don't know if you do the same thing. I presume you do, but right when you go in, so you fly real high before your initial descent, and kind of all the descent is cut into one, to avoid or minimize the risk of getting taken out by a Stinger or an RPG. But you just fucking drop from whatever the flying height is, of a C-130 down to as low as they can go to safely transition and land on the runway.
Yeah.
And it ends up feeling like you're fucking dying because it just the plane's going, then it just feels like it stops. So when that happens, we've got about 100 Marines loaded up in this C-130, and everybody just starts fucking floating because nobody's wearing their their seatbelts because there's not enough seatbelts for, or even chairs. But yeah, all of a sudden your nuts are, up in your throat. Then we touched down, and we'd gone from, it was negative 20 degrees to then fucking, let's see, got there in February. The temperature transition was still real hot. Well, it felt it, but they opened the back and we all fucking run out and just see nothing but desert for as far around as you could see, and just felt boiling hot at the time, mind you, just come from negative 20 degrees, and then the smell hits you, which, Josh, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. As soon as you're like, oh, I don't know how to explain that. I've never experienced.
It's about the smell of the city,
No.
like that or is it just the general smell of the desert?
Burning shit.
Burning shit. Oh, the smell of burning shit.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Smell of burning shit, mate. It's fucking disgusting. So you've got off the plane. It's fucking hot. It smells like shit.
Tastes like shit.
It is shit.
Yeah. So we did a couple of admin days there, or maybe being a week, but all the typical briefings that you need to do. And we're at Dwyer at the time, which is one of the main U.S. bases in Helmand. Nowhere near as big as like Leatherneck or Bastion, but still fairly decent size. It would end up being the area during deployment where, like, fuck, I really don't want to go there because all the pogues, fobbits, and officers are up there.
Mhm.
Like, and they're gonna fucking yell at me because I look like a shitbag, and my boots aren't, my pants aren't tucked in or bloused, and or my uniform's too dirty. So yeah, that was definitely the area we tried to avoid.
Do you ever remember when you go in, like you all smell like shit because showers are obviously fucking at a minimum, and you walk in and like you'll all sit down and then suddenly you can smell someone's perfume, like a fucking a pogue's fucking chick's wearing perfume, but she's like a kilometre away. And you're like,
oh, you become vultures. Yeah, you want to be like, die, guys.
Yeah.
Is that where you developed your keen sense of smell, Josh?
Fucking hey, mate.
Don't even go there.
Mate, I've got a good sense of smell. But yeah, all right. So you smashed out. You've done your last little bits of your admin.
Yep.
And then you're off to your FOB.
Yep. So we did a convoy out to our fob, which was in Marja, is the name of the city or the town. Mm-hmm. So we're pretty much smack bang in the middle of Marja. And right as we got there, the rainy season had started to hit, which I was glad, because whenever you go over, you kind of do 2 of the 3 seasons as snow, rain, and summer. And I do not do well in the cold, so I was like, all right, thank fuck I'm not having to be here when it snows, especially with how cold it gets in the desert. Mm-hmm. So yeah, punched out to our fob, which at the first time going outside the wire, especially even while you're transporting, everything's a fucking bomb to you. Everybody's a terrorist. You're like, oh, what about that guy? What about that guy? What the fuck is that? What's that? Give it a month later and you're just like, that thing probably won't kill me. Fuck it, we're good.
You get complacent, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, complacent, but then also you're just like, whatever. You've got a better way of judging things. Mm-hmm. Especially when you'd see guys over there with AKs, and at first you're like, oh, that's fucking tea. Let us smoke them. Like, well, man, like every family's allowed an AK over here. Just because they have a gun doesn't mean you can be like, this isn't Fallujah in 04 or Ramadi. Like, there's a little more ROEs now, guys. I think you're going to become at least a little more comfortable and knowledgeable of the environment. So yeah, we got there, got to our base during the rainy season, ended up again. I drew the short end of the stick. We'd just got there, dumped our shit, everything soaked, working out where we're gonna be staying at. We've all got these tents. So we did work out. We did have tents. We fit about 10 guys per tent. So obviously everybody put up their poncho liners and everything to try to have a little privacy as long as that would last. Right when we get there, the other unit that's there that we're ripping out with. So rip is the transition period where the old units training the new unit up, bring them up to speed, and then the old unit, after a few weeks of working with the new unit, will leave and they'll go home. Mm-hmm. That's rinse and repeat. The new unit becomes the old unit, and just goes on. So we just got there, and one of the old unit, and I mean just got there, like fucking dumped our gear, found my tent, found the hooch where I was going to go to, and right then one of the guys from the old units goes, "Hey, we need a machine gunner. Al's just fell and sprained his ankle. We've got a mission going out right now." So then they're just like, "Heenan, you're a machine gunner, right?" Like, "Yep." I'm like, "Cool, get in the fucking truck. Let's go." And at that point,
deep end much?
Fuck. But and I'm still in that mode of like, everybody here is going to kill me. Everything's a bomb. So get up in the truck, and 19-year-old kid fucking shaking at the bits and just like, oh, fuck. Anyway, go out, and they're like, well, guys, it'll only be like an hour or so. I'm like, you'll be good once you get back. You can get settled in. Went out for about an hour, and then an hour turned into 2, turned into 3. Around 3 hours in, it started raining. I was up in the turret, which did not have cover. And about 8 hours later, we're pulling back into the base, and I look like a wet dog. Just fucking sopping wet, hungry, cold, pissed off. Again, because we just got there. I hadn't been able to get any of my rain gear out. So I was just in my regular camis, flak and Kevlar. Get out, we do a quick debrief, go back to my hooch, and all my stuff's still there, like not touched at all, just on the rack. Everybody else is unpacked. And we're just like, "So how is it, man?" And just like, "This shit fucking sucks." Like I just spent 8 hours freezing my ass off. I probably have hypothermia now. So yeah, then as the weeks went on, you get more comfortable in the area, doing the routine security missions and all of that, getting lay of the land. So yeah, then it pretty much just turned into your standard Marine Corps infantry deployment.
So do they give you any training on how to identify anyone, or do you just base like anyone that could potentially be the one trying to kill you?
Yeah.
Could you tell the difference?
You go through training on that, and then you have your ROEs and the I'm having a brain fart here. What's the term? As you go from non-lethal, less lethal, up to lethal force.
Escalation of force.
Yeah, that's the one, escalation of force. Yeah, so you go through that, and you kind of got your checklist, and all right, here's what I have to do before I'm given the green light to either engage or not engage. There's 90% of it is just death by PowerPoint in a classroom setting when they're going through that training. To which people are just falling asleep and doing the bobbing for cock thing, as people are trying to stay awake.
Bobbing for cock.
Yeah, you do go through a lot of that training. Although how effective it is, I'd say is up to debate. It could be a lot more efficient.
So is that like a list of rules that you're supposed to go through, like a checklist in your head while in real time trying to figure out if someone's a potential target?
Yeah. So go through in your head and then physically. So it could be anything from vocally challenge them, and then depending where you're at, you might then employ like a pin flare to then doing a warning shot, or possibly popping a smoke grenade from like a 203 if you have one, but with like a training Cheeto round, all the way up to then engaging if everything, it can go by very quick. Like it might be a matter of seconds that you're trying to go through that, which obviously then can be very troubling or emotionally stressful on guys, because you're trying to make these decisions in 2 or 3 seconds that are going to ultimately result in somehow likely somebody, whether it's on your side or the other side or a civilian, getting killed.
Yeah, that old situational awareness, helps. You get taught combat indicators as well, don't you? So
Yeah.
What's that?
So things that you should look out for that going to be an indicator that something's going to go down. Local ones are if you're in a town and the civilian population all of a sudden starts clearing out, that's a pretty good indicator that you're probably going to get in a gunfight. If you see same vehicle, like they used, we call them Hodgie Davidsons, but they're little shitbox motorbikes over there. If you see 2 guys on one of them kind of circling the same area, likely they're a scout and they're tapping stuff out. Guys on cell phones on rooftops, and then anything that could be kind of a marker, a stack of rocks in a certain pattern on the side of the road could be an aiming device for an IED, so they know when to hit the deck to time it so that when it hits when the vehicle's going over it.
There's a lot to take in, and then you've got to know everything when shit breaks out. So you got to remember your contact drills. You got to remember where everyone is, where everyone else might be moving to. You'd have to remember any RATEL procedures that you need to go through if you need to.
What's a RATEL procedure?
Your comms. Comms procedures. So there's like a performer for your comms. You'd have the same, wouldn't you, Chrissy? All performer based. Yeah.
Have you got tobacco in your mouth?
Yeah. Welcome to America.
Yeah, like I thought you were sipping a bottle, but I'm like, you're actually spitting in it.
Bit of Copenhagen.
Fucking Texas to the core, mate.
Chewing tobacco.
Right.
It is Copenhagen.
Yeah.
I gotta send you those shirts, and then I'll send you some cash, and we'll do a Copenhagen thing. You probably
Fuck yeah.
You're actually probably too big for the shirts now, right? I bought him shirts years ago, and I still haven't sent them.
Is that a bit like your lever action?
Yeah,
Bought it years ago, still haven't got it?
pretty much. That's right. Anyway, like this is all coming to a bit of a culminating fucking thing for your time over there. Are you happy to share with us?
Yeah, so months go on. There's some ups and downs, a lot of boredom, as you know, and deployments, 90% boredom, 5% going, what the fuck? And then, 5% of just crazy, massive adrenaline rushes and awesome, good fun. We're getting ready to leave. So we'd we actually weren't doing a rip on our base, on our FOB. So this was towards the end of 2011. Our base was being broken down. The ANCOP, which is like the Afghan National Army, we're going to take over the base. So we essentially were like, all right, well, let's not leave them with everything good, because they're probably going to destroy this place anyway. Let's take some of these assets back to Dwyer. The majority of the time I was over there as a mounted machine gunner. So I was up in the turret of an MRAP, armored vehicles. And I'd gone through a few different positions, but for probably 80% of deployment, I was a lead gunner. So I always ran the lead truck. We're doing a routine mission, probably gets delayed by a few hours, and then we're going down a route to Dwyer, going across Route Red, which is just a big open desert. Get a few hours in, everything's fine. It's typically a very quiet area of the route. And literally all you can see around you for miles and miles is just flat desert, nothing else. I'm up in the turret, smoking a cigarette, just like, all right, well, this is fucking boring as shit. Next thing you know, fucking boom. At first, I think my driver's fucking with me and does just hit a pothole. Then in my head, I'm like, that's a really fucking loud pothole. End up, so obviously we'd struck an IED. Got rattled around from that pretty good. Ended up getting knocked out. Actually headbutted the back of my 50 cal up in the turret. knocked out from that. Obviously, took a fair bit of trauma. Long story short, it resulted in me then being medevaced out of there. So once I did finally come to, there's a lot of confusion and everything, but they start doing medical treatment on me, calling the Black Hawk. And then, so by that time, we were meant to go home in about 3 weeks. By that time, it was, I went over to, all the different battalion aid stations in Afghan while they processed me, then spent a while in Germany while they're doing more in-depth and invasive testing, scanning everything, working out what the actual injuries are. And then after that was flown to San Antonio, Texas, where we have a massive military hospital. Resulted in probably 2.5 weeks, I think, as an actual inpatient in the hospital. All of this time, they'd been keeping me plenty high on morphine and ketamine, real drugged up. And then that essentially started my what ended up being 18-month transition through a medical ward out of the military.
What injuries did you sustain?
Wow.
They're obviously quite severe.
Yeah, so big one was a traumatic brain injury. Obviously, headbutting the back of the 50 cal. Now, the nods mounts that you have right on the front of your helmet.
Yeah.
So we had a metal one, so I actually cracked that. Wow. So luckily, my helmet hit the 50 instead of my face. Otherwise, I'd probably been done on the spot. So got a TBI from that. My left hand was staying up on the gun when we hit, and after I knocked myself out, I just dropped like a sack of shit. My left arm stayed on the gun though, so as I dropped, all that my arm stayed up, and I tore pretty much all the muscles and tendons in my left shoulder. Then fell down onto the gunner stand, which is a little metal stand that the gunner will stand on to get them a little higher in the vehicle so they can employ the turret properly. Our plate carriers, our vest that would hold our body armor, the lower part of it, around the small lead back is exposed. It really just covers the vitals. Right on there is the contact point where my back hit the edge of the gunner's turret. So you've got your SI joint, your sacroiliac, which is basically right above your butt crack. So I ended up crushing that. Took a lot of soft tissue trauma, especially to my ribs and to my back. And then also rotated my pelvis out of place.
Wow.
Yeah, all in a day's work, mate.
Yeah. Well, I'm an overachiever.
Yeah, fucking hell, mate.
That is insane.
This left you with a question of walking again, or
No, not really a question of walking again. More a question of how efficiently I'd be able to do it all that again. I also had quite serious trauma to my neck. 3 of the vertebrae in my neck were actually blown out about 90 degrees. So, albeit there's the extreme adrenaline rush when that all happens, and then a lot of it's this blur while they have you on these heavy narcotics. Mm-hmm. One, as your body's coming down from the adrenaline, for you not to just collapse in pain. But it also makes it real blurry, like in your mind, what's going on. Mm-hmm. So during that 18 months when I was back in San Antonio, is essentially when they do the evaluation of, are you fit for duty or are you unfit for duty? Can you go back and do your job with the correct amount of rehab and recovery work? They basically gave me the option. They were like, hey, here's the deal. They're like, you're not going to be infantry anymore. They're like, there's no way you can rock with 80 pounds of equipment. And, especially when you look at then what you're liable for, because, hey, if I'm not up to the job, then I'm just putting other people at risk. Mm-hmm. I'm becoming a liability instead of an asset. Mm-hmm. So they essentially went, here's the route we can take. They can go, You can choose a new MOS, but you're going to be non-deployable, so you'll never deploy again. And so you're going to be a pogue. You might do some non-combat rotations, but you're essentially going to be working in an office. At that point, I was like, well, the military pay is fucking shit. So if I'm going to be stuck in an office job, I might as well do it for someone that I can make a little bit better coin. So at that point, I was like, yeah, you know what, guys, let's go through the med board. But I'm going to push for medical retirement because I think my time in the military is over at this point, and it's not something that I want to continue to do anymore. So yeah, and that was all on the first rotation. So our terminology over here is we call it a one pump jump. You just do one rotation and then get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use that term for something different. So how long? What was the duration that you were over there? Was this a relatively
about 6 months, 6.5 months?
Okay, so you were still relatively new in terms of deployment time.
So we were nearing the end of our deployment. Early on in the GWAT, especially with the Army, you'd have guys that would go over there for 15, 18 months at a time.
Okay.
Once they started getting guys back, they saw how difficult that was on guys, especially the emotional trauma. Huge rise in PTSD from guys living over there for a year and a half, especially in the more kinetic locations. So by the time I'd gone over, they'd changed the rotations up to, if you were combat arms in the Marine Corps, you'd do a 7-month tour. And if you were non-combat arms, like if you're a pogue or a fobbit, then you do 12 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So you're obviously relatively mobile now.
Yep. So
how long did it take you to get, excuse the pun, back on your feet from all that injury? And then where did you go to from there once you had been discharged?
So it took probably a good 6 months of doing rehab, physical therapy 4 to 5 times a week. Get my equilibrium back, get my balance back. Within between that 6 and 12 month period is when I was pretty well stable. I was able to drive again. I was able to move around relatively well, and then it was a ongoing. I had to keep up with the physical therapy. So the last 6 months or so, the 18 months that I was at the hospital, I was pretty good. I was like, yep, I can take care of myself. I don't need a caretaker or anything like that. I just have to be aware of different issues that could affect me, and make sure I just, if I feel one of those issues coming on, take the steps to avoid that. So yeah, ended up got medically retired and went to moved back up to Central Texas for about 10 months. And that was kind of well, shit, what am I going to do now? Took a few months just to myself, going like, all right, well, hey, I want to just enjoy being a civilian for a bit. And then I tried to find employment and work out what I want to do. Problem was, didn't have a college education at that point. And really my only experience was in the military. So nobody wants to, as much as they say, we love our veterans and we want to help them out. Reality of it is a lot of places don't want to hire a disabled or an injured veteran that they could have a college kid do that same work for cheaper and probably more efficiently because they're not dealing with all these physical injuries. Ended up finally got a break through a gentleman I met, an old Vietnam vet who's become kind of a mentor to me that ran a gas treating company. He offered me a job out in West Texas. So I did that for a couple of years. At that point, I decided it wasn't for me. The pay was good. The work was decent, but it was very physically demanding. And it didn't really matter what I was getting paid. It was just like, it felt like I was recovering from an autopsy every time I'd wake up. I was just like, fuck, this isn't worth it. Like, my quality of life is fucking shit. So then through that Vietnam vet, happened to find a contact out in the Dallas area that was in firearms manufacturing. So I just called him up one day and just like, hey, John, my name's Chris. You don't know me, but I want a job. And he's just like, oh, well, that's ambitious. He's like, but I like it. Why don't you come on out, see if we get along, nice. And we'll see where we can take it from there. So did that, met with him. We got along fucking great. And he, at the time, I was still in West Texas. At the time, he goes, hey, I don't know exactly what you'll be doing, but if you move out here, if you get out here, he's like, I'll have a job for you. So like, cool, go back to West Texas, work out my transition, find an apartment out in Dallas, rent it sight unseen. I give this guy John a call, and I go, hey, I'll be out there December 1st. I'll be in my apartment. He's like, cool, I'll see you December 2nd in the shop.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
So yeah, I apprenticed as a gunsmith for him. Did that for a few years. So our primary focus was precision bolt guns. We then, because everybody was doing it, we got into the AR realm. So we built a bunch of AR rifles, again being focused on very precise firearms, and then also got into pistol modification. So we didn't build any of our pistols from the ground up. It was more doing enhancements and reliability work to them. Like you see, a lot of people cutting their pistols for red dots these days, and adjusting the springs, for competition guns, to just make them perform better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, our main focus was doing precision bolt action rifles.
So did that get you involved more in shooting as a hobby as well, because you started working there as an apprentice?
Yeah, absolutely. So it first started off with, and once I'd been doing it, everybody's just like, oh man, you must shoot all the fucking time. Like you work in a gun shop. And I was like, nah, not as often as I'd like. Like, we'd go every other weekend or so, but it was, for every 1 hour shooting, there was 9 hours in the shop, whether that's behind the lathe, behind the mill, doing the trades and work of building a firearm.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, man, I used to get jealous because you'd send me a photo of you like cruising to the range with like a fucking minigun. I'd be like, fuck
you. Yeah. So we did have one of the companies that we work for. You've got different levels of FFL, Federal Firearms License, over here. And the one that we had was allowed us to manufacture up to, I think it was FFL 07. So we can manufacture NFA items, which is National Firearms Act. That's your short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, suppressors, and full automatics. Mm-hmm. So at the peak of it, we had about 78 to 80 full auto firearms, including a Dillon M134 minigun. Mm-hmm. So part of what we would do is we'd put on these these veteran charity shoots where we'd bring out veterans. A lot of the times, the last time they shot a full auto was while they were deployed. So we'd have these investors that would come in. They would donate their time and money to run the firearms, and then it would be we'd just bring out the veterans and let them run all this weaponry and firearms that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get their hands on.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool.
That would be so much fun.
Sounds like we're all moving to Texas.
Fucking love Texas.
Except for Caleb. Caleb actually doesn't like semi-automatics or autos. He's a strange cat. Strange.
You say one thing once, my God.
Strange cat.
And you just harp on about it all the fucking time.
At this stage, that's sounded like you jam-packed fucking a lifetime into, a few years already.
Yep.
Dude, that's nuts, and there's more to come.
So how long were you there for? How long were you working on the guns and doing the shooting and doing that sort of thing? You said a couple of years.
So I did that for about 2 years until the company went under. Part of it was the transition of when Trump came into office, the height of gun sales declined a bit at the point essentially because nobody was afraid that the guns were going to get taken away anymore. And then all the people that were buying guns and at that point weren't buying the level of guns that we were building. They were the ones that go, hey, I'll buy a $600 Glock or maybe spend $1,000 on an AR. Our bolt guns started about $6,500 or $7,000. We were building extremely high-end firearms, and there just wasn't the market for it at that point, especially with being a small-time shop. We couldn't compete with the companies that could throw a few $1 million into production and manufacturing and being able to build these firearms mostly by machine, as opposed to how we were doing it by hand with a lot of hand fitting. So when that company went under, I still stayed in the same circle. Luckily, one of the guys that I'd done a lot of firearms training with, because that's another thing that we did while we were running the gun shop, is we offered firearms training to not only our clients but also put on tactical courses and working with being able to provide that to regular civilians and citizens, so they would be able to safely enjoy the sport of shooting. So when the company went under, a friend of mine that I worked with in training offered me a job doing private security for him. So I got into basic executive protection, so kind of armed, concealed carry, suit and tie. It was a great learning experience. I did that for another couple of years, mostly in the US. Did go to Mexico a couple of times with that. It's one of those jobs, it sounds really cool. It's incredibly boring. It's kind of like being an armed chauffeur, and you cannot get complacent on that job regardless of how boring it gets. But yeah, it was definitely a very good opportunity at the time, and made for an easy transition going, well, fuck, gun shop's shutting down, going to be out of a job. Next day it's going like, oh, no, I'm not. Already got something else lined up.
Yeah, nice. So did you have any sort of incidents while you were in that role within protective security?
Yeah, a lot of it was mostly dealing, with drunks that were getting out of hand. But we did have one principal that had been receiving what we believe to be legitimate death threats. And we had local law enforcement working with us as well. So we were doing 24/7 armed security for this person. Nothing that got to the level of engaging somebody. But there were some very suspicious, high-intensity situations that did come from that, especially when you think of this happening in a major city in the US as opposed to something that happens when you're downrange in the sandbox.
Jeez, you've led quite the life. So where are you up to now? What are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, so I felt like I got everything out of the private security work that I could have.
Yep.
And then had an opportunity that came about to get into the defense industry again. So I'm now, and defense industry over here is basically all the companies that supply the defense or DoD and law enforcement with product. So I got the opportunity to work for a company that does hearing protection and tactical communications equipment. So I've been doing that for the past couple of years. And that is supplying federal, state, and local law enforcement along with military, not only in America, but across the whole world, other than China and Russia. Yeah. Hearing protection and communication equipment.
Yeah, nice.
So do you get exposure to the latest in technology for those items?
Yes. Yeah. We're definitely we are the leader when it comes to our wheelhouse of products, being that communication equipment. And then we have obviously a lot of really interesting technology in development. So not only are we creating the latest and greatest products for today, but also looking at future capabilities and technologies.
Are you allowed to tell us about that?
DARPA.
Yeah, you're essentially working for DARPA.
So it's interesting. So basically, up until the GWAT, DARPA was kind of a leader in these technologies. And as GWAT came about, you sort of saw the private side take lead and start offering better technologies and products.
As what came about? What was that word that you used?
DARPA.
The other one, DWAT.
Defense something research program. Basically, it's this part of the government that looks at all kinds of upcoming technology for the defense of the nation. So it could be new weapon systems. It could be cyber security. Just basically them looking at, hey, what can we get at, like what's possible now, and what can we have in the next 10 years, and what can we have in the next 20 years.
And the other organization, what was that? G what or?
Well, so GWAT's just basically the term for veterans of my age, so global war on terror. It's all the guys that have served from 2001 up until the conclusion of Afghanistan.
So you're saying that now that you guys have all come back, you sort of, since that era, available technologies to the general public has sort of become on par with DARPA. Is that what you're saying?
No, not to the general public, but you have a lot of these private companies or these public companies that are not part of the government that have had a lot more initiative in future capabilities.
Yep.
So instead of, back in the 80s and 90s, it was DARPA would have the greatest technology ever possible and no other company could get near it. Well, now it's kind of done a flip where DARPA is sort of still living in the early 2000s and these private companies are moving forward and coming out with these capabilities that to some people just unheard of.
Yep. So can you tell us some of the new cool shit that we can expect to never get our hands on because we're plebs?
So I do need to be careful on this point because obviously there's a lot of NDAs in place. But the big thing in communications is going wireless and being able to get rid of or overcome currently the defenses that are out there. So obviously when you go wireless, there's the risk of people being able to jam your signal so it can't get out, and then also them being able to listen in on what you're saying because you're emitting a wireless signal out there. So that's kind of the big next step forward. I'm working out how to do that in the safest possible way. As far as like specific products, that's not something that I can touch on. But once we do go public with it, I'll be sure to send you guys the news on that.
Sounds awesome.
Just send us a sample.
That's awesome, man. And look, honestly, your progression of what you've done since the military is quite outstanding. And I think a lot of that, by the sounds of it, is down to your can-do attitude, and certainly with your initial with the gunsmithing job. That's outstanding. So, but that's not always the case for people who've left the military, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. I got very fortunate, that I was given the opportunities that I had. And one kind of thing that had stuck with me was, a good friend of mine had told me, he's like, hey man, he's like, you can complain and whine and have the boo-boo lip because some unfortunate shit happened. You see with so many veterans, whether they're injured, whether it's in combat or a training exercise. But at the end of the day, you can't let that one instance or several instances like that affect the rest of your life. So basically, yeah, shit sucks occasionally, but don't live with a boo-boo lip. Yes, people act sympathetic, but also, that they're not other people aren't in charge of your quality of life and happiness. Mm-hmm. And one thing that's really stuck with me, obviously with the military, especially guys in combat arms, you're going to get in kinetic situations. You're going to lose friends along the way. And then as you transition, you're also going to realize that veterans are going to kill themselves. That everybody has their own demons, but you owe it to the fallen to live a good life. So like my buddies that I'd lost over there, they would whoop the shit out of me if they saw me being a failure as a person now. Like they would want me to be living my life to the fullest and taking advantage and benefit of everything that I can.
Yeah,
That's a good outlook,
That
man.
is an outstanding outlook, man.
It can be tough to get to that point and look at the world like that, man. But when you're there, it certainly holds a broader future for people.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I think people are going to get a lot out of your story, Chris. So thank you for sharing everything you have. And look, honestly, it's the best answer to question one I think we've ever had. But I think what we're going to have to do is speed through these other questions. And honestly, if you look at this sheet, it actually does say speed round. It's never been a speed round, mate. But look, it's extremely early over there and it's very late over here. So we'll be wise with our time. How about we do some speed round for the rest of our questions?
Let's go for it.
Sick. All right. Number 2, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food. All right. So generic would be wild game meat, but if we're having to go specific, venison with jalapeno cheese summer sausage.
Wow.
It's a very common meat that you'll have processed when you harvest a deer over here.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're going for exact deer, Axis is freaking incredible.
Did you think about that answer, or is that just off the top of your head? Because that's going to be the quickest fucking answer we've ever had to that question.
I put down some bullet points for these answers.
Oh, you
I didn't
done some
want to get
research.
stumped with one and then just be like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And then later today, I didn't want it to be, as I'm going on with my day, being like, oh fuck, I should have said this. That was a great answer.
Mate, that's outstanding.
Fucking well done on the
Brett,
organisation front.
Well, you know what question 3 is then? Your first job. Did you end up at Red Reader like Josh did?
So my first job, we were living in Prospect at the time, and God, I forget the road, but there's Hungry Jack's up there that was halfway between where we were living and the school that I was going to. So yeah, I flipped burgers for a couple of years.
Mate, that's where all good soldiers start.
Bloody hell. All right. Number 4, if you could trade places with anyone in the world, who would that be?
Right, so I got 2. First easy one would be Putin, and I'd jump off a cliff.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
Nice.
The other one, but the premise on this is it's only for a limited amount of time, and then I get to transition back.
Yep.
I think it'd be incredible to get in the mind of Elon Musk and just see how he works.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'd just be shit talking as much as I can and creating this facade. So I put on Twitter, be like, how does it feel to know I'm the richest African American in the world? And then I'd transition back to myself and just sit back with a couple of drinks and chaos.
Watch the fallout.
Fuck, that's excellent.
Holy shit! Before you go on, I've got to ask a question. What's the general take with the whole fucking Russian shit over there?
I think we've definitely realized that Russia isn't the superpower they thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody over here, at least from what I've seen, is definitely pro-Ukraine. We've sent quite a lot of money and assets over there. And actually leading up to this, there have been a lot of U.S. military assets training Ukrainians in the area for, really for years and years. We've had that going on. But yeah, I think we're seeing that the age of tanks in battle is kind of past us, because you have a Ukrainian farmer with an RPG that's taking out a $20 million tank. They've definitely overstepped, and hopefully it ends soon, because there's definitely everybody's on the fuck Putin bandwagon.
Yeah. Everyone, look, we don't get to, obviously Putin's shut down the media inside Russia the best he can. So we're only getting Ukrainian news on like Al Jazeera and things like that, or what's happening from the Ukrainian side, not what's happening from the Russian side. So there's a lot of speculation in what's going on here in Australia anyway.
Yeah.
And for a while, like obviously world news, China was sitting there talking about Taiwan for a long, long time. Russia's happened. Everyone knows that sort of Russia and China are sort of in cahoots. Not really, but, it could be possible. And so at some stage, a lot of people were thinking maybe China would use this as a bit of smoke and mirror to just move into Taiwan and take it. That's not happened, obviously. But we don't know what's going on down here. I mean, our media controls fucking heaps.
And that's the problem. The media portrays everything how they want, and you're also seeing, which really we haven't seen it since the days of the last, what I'll call actual legitimate war. Not saying that GWAT wasn't legitimate, but the Vietnam, Korea, World War II, you're getting a lot of propaganda on both sides, so you don't know what to believe, especially with how easy it is to spread a message, with the internet and social media these days. So yeah, it's definitely a media-based world, which is very unfortunate. And at the end of the day, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle on what's actually happening. But then realistically, we probably won't ever know the 100% truth of the situation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. This brings me to another quick question. What was your and the general consensus, I guess, of Texas at least, on Trump? Was he good? From all accounts here, he actually looked like an outstanding president. Was he as liked as what they say? I mean,
In Josh's mind, anyway.
So it depends. You've got there was a lot of extremes. The people that liked him to the extreme, people that hated him to the extreme. What I put it like this: he did very, very well for the economy. Our economy was doing great. Unfortunately, these days the economy is not doing as great. That's not to say Trump was awesome. He obviously said a bunch of stupid shit. But he did run it like a businessman instead of a career politician, which I think was a welcome change. But then at the same time, I think all politicians are cunts. Doesn't matter what side they're on. They you're never going to agree with all of them, and they're either all extreme left or all extreme right. And the ultimate best way would be meeting somewhere in the middle. But everybody gets too pissy and emotional to settle for anything the other side wants to bring up. So instead of having realistic and well thought out ideas, it turns into a pissing contest of an extreme left idea versus an extreme right idea.
Well said.
Next question. And in this crazy journey of life of yours, have you got children?
No, I do not. So my wife and I had discussed that. We've been together for a little over 5 years now, and we realized it's not for us. We've seen so many people with kids just being absolutely miserable, having to work several jobs, and not really getting to enjoy life. And the last thing that we want to do during the prime years of our lives is be tied down with some little ankle biter for 18 years when now as well finally in professional careers and having the money to travel and see the rest of the world. We don't want to put that on hold for the best part of 2 decades.
Yep. Fair call. Fair
Tell
call.
for yourself, man. That's exactly right.
Yep.
The world's in need of a good culling anyway, so we add to the population.
Don't even start Ryan on that rabbit hole.
I was going to say, I know a guy you might get along with.
We'll have another hour argument. So, and your missus has a pretty interesting career as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. So I met her when I was in the firearms manufacturing field. She had just returned from Africa. So she lived over there for a couple of years, and she became a licensed professional hunter and then did a bunch of anti-poaching work over there. So she was real big into conservation. And then she's a competitive shooter over here. So she does a lot of the 3-gun competitions. So that's kind of where we really connected and bonded. I remember initially meeting her and was talking about rifles, and she understood what twist rates were in barrels. As soon as she said that, in my mind, I was like, get fucked. I was like, how do you do this?
Perfect, man.
What was Africa get like for us? Give us a quick touch on that. Like, did she get to hunt any of the big five or anything while she was there?
So not the big five. She did guide a bunch of hunts for the big five. And Plains game. I mean, she's probably, I might be a little off on the numbers, but probably shot a bit or harvested a good 30 different Plains game animals while she was over there. So she was in South Africa, Namibia, Mozambique, and I think there was another one in there.
Yeah, nice. Bloody hell. Want us to get her on the show, mate.
Yeah.
I think I'm feeling like I've had a very boring life at this point. Chris, what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done?
Fucking spotlighting with Peter driving.
Oh, Porter.
Porter, Josh's old man. Did you get run over? Did you get run over as well?
I think after that it'd probably be the pump to Afghan, but yeah, Peter takes the cake on that one.
Yeah, easy.
He did. You did get run over by Peter.
Oh,
didn't you?
It's a rite of passage.
It is.
I feel left out.
Yeah. It's happening. It'll happen. Just give it time. Yeah, when you least expect it.
When I least
mate.
expect it.
Yeah. Bam.
All right, keep it rolling. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
This one actually came from my wife, that treat the janitor the same as you'd treat the CEO.
That's a good one. I've heard that one, and I like it. It's a very good way to live your life. Treat everyone with
You
respect.
never know who you're talking to or what lesson you could get from somebody. So regardless of what somebody's been through in life, you can probably learn something from everybody you talk to.
Yeah, everyone's got a story, and honestly, like I cannot stand people who base who they talk to and who they don't talk to on social status or what someone's job is. Like, you've said it perfectly there, man. You've got something to learn from everyone.
That's a good bit of advice, man.
Yeah,
one to write down.
Now, Chris, what is your most treasured possession?
So we obviously can't do family or anything like that, right? So you're looking for something physical.
Yeah.
So there's 2 rifles that I have. Josh knows these pretty well. Caleb, you actually may have shot them as well. I have an old Bruno before CZ bought them out. Bruno Mod 2 from fuckers building like the early 50s.
Jesus.
That Josh, I just remember, I was probably 13. And we were at your original house with that rinky-dink rifle range in the backyard. You cited that in with me. I probably got, and that belonged to my pop. And I probably got 12,000 rounds through it now.
Wow.
That, and then I have belonged to my mom, a Seiko Forester that was rebarreled in 257 Roberts Improved. That when we were out spotlighting, I took my first roo with that rifle.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bloody hell, you still have them, man.
Yep.
Bloody hell. Nostalgic.
Yep. They're sitting about 10 yards away from me in the gun safe right now.
There's that brings back some memories actually, because you loaned me an old, I think it was a Sportco Martini. In 22 Hornet once. 22 Hornet? 22 Magnum. 22 Hornet.
Yeah, it was 22 Hornet.
Yeah. That brings back some memories, man. I used to shoot that thing at that little dinky range that we had. And when we were
I don't
kids...
think it had sights on it at the time. But
it didn't.
It was still... Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't, but it still shot. Like, you still hit a can at 50 metres with it, just looking down the barrel. But
It didn't have iron sights either.
the front post was knocked off. Yeah.
So you're just shooting a tube.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was either the front or the rear sights, one of the two. But yeah, bloody hell, man. Chris and I went shot a few times against each other when we were in cadets, actually. and you were biting at my ankles.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. We had that a couple of years, that little competition with the 22 rifles.
Yep.
And fuck, it was something like, what was like 20 meters or 25 yards, and it was just based off grouping as opposed to an actual score.
Yeah.
And I think it was one or two shots that separated us, and it's like you'd have the lead, then I'd take it, then you'd take it, and it was a single group difference between us.
Yep. Yeah, definitely, man. It was that really taught me how to shoot, actually, because you were the only person that could shoot as well. So you and I were pretty much the only competition.
Oh yeah,
but we were so competitive.
Yeah. Everybody else's targets looked like they got hit with a scatter gun, and then I actually remember because your old man was scoring those targets.
Yeah.
And I remember walking up with my target, and it's just a tight, ragged hole. Peter's like, "Where are the rest of them?" I'm like, all right, they're all fucking in there.
Yeah. There could have been some fucking sway to one side there. Who knows? We'll have to ask Poiter one day.
Fuck, I love it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprised if you were just a shit shot, Josh, and the only reason you kept getting out was your old man was helping you out.
All right, let's go to the range, champ.
Yeah.
Right now.
Go on.
Teacher's pet. All right. Chris, recommend a movie to us, mate.
So keeping on the topic of hunting and conservation, there's a TV show. They did 2 seasons. It's called Ivan Carter's War. So I think I'm watching it on Amazon Prime with the Outdoor Channel. But it's this bloke that he grew up in Rhodesia, was a professional hunter, and now does conservation work. My wife actually worked with him a bit when she was over there in Africa. It's a little bit dramatized it's got a little bit of the B-roll for reality TV, but it looks into how badly poaching is affecting the wildlife over in that continent. Mm-hmm. And what they're doing, to prevent that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty funny, man. Because I was just talking about this with someone the other day. Some parts of Africa where they've controlled hunting and poaching, the elephants are in like plague numbers, and they're actually starting to destroy crops and this and that. And they're starting to have to do culls on them. In other parts of Africa where hunting wasn't restricted and there had been a lot of poaching, there's no elephants.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
It's all over the shop. But good recommendation, man. I like that one. What was the name of that again for people out there?
So Ivan Carter's War.
Ivan Carter's War. Right.
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys right now on IG, so you have it.
Sweet. Thanks, man. All right. Question 10. What was your first rifle?
So my first rifle was a Sportco Martini in 22 long rifle. Don't know if you guys remember this, but Sportco was a gun company out of Adelaide. So it was different from the 22 Hornet that I lent Josh that we talked about a little earlier.
Yep.
Same kind of premise, though. A little single shot Martini 22 that I got on my 6th birthday. And I haven't shot the thing in probably well over a decade. But I remember as a kid just grabbing a brick of 22 ammo. And I could barely hold the rifle up when I first got it. So I'd set up a little stool to rest the rifle on, and would just go through a brick of ammo in an afternoon. Just be like, oh, fuck, I wonder if I can hit that rock over there. Or now I'll see how many times I can hit this tin can and see how far I can knock it down. A lot of childhood memories with that rifle.
Yeah,
6 years old.
I've got to ask, what's your favourite non-nostalgic weapon? All right, so I'm trying to lean at, like, clearly you've got a few nice platforms that you're running. What's your all right, to elaborate as well, you still got your Blazer?
I do. Yep.
You do? Yeah. And what's your favourite AR platform? That's what I'm kind of getting at.
So on ARs, so we've got between the wife and I, 4 or 5 of them now. I do have a Mark 18, so Daniel Defense 10.3 inch barrel, which is I think it's a fun little gun, but I like running the shotguns, but unless you're running them suppressed, they're loud. Suppressors make the guns dirty, a lot quicker. So favorite AR would be it's a 14.7 inch barreled DMR that I put together when I was doing gunsmithing. So I've got a Night Force 2.5 to 10 on it with a offset red dot, running a Atlas bipod on it. Went through, I've redone the whole action, and that it's gone through a few different iterations. That is the most accurate AR that I've ever had. I have made hits out to running 77 grain Black Hills match ammo with all the wind conditions right. I've had hits on E-type targets at 1,100 yards.
Yeah, very nice.
That. Yeah. So that thing is just it's more accurate than it should be, and I can never I have no idea how a 14.7 inch barrel can be that accurate. But occasionally when all the wind conditions are right, and you're like, all right, well, I've dialed up as much as I can, and now I'm going to Kentucky windage and aim at this tree. But then, ended up, getting consistent hits. Now, 1,100 was on, I've only done that once. Outside of that, it's a 600 to 800 yard gun all day with the right ammo.
Yeah, nice. Are you running 1 to 7 or 1 to 8 inch for that 77 grain?
That is a 1 and 8.
1 and 8, yeah.
Yeah,
very nice. I'm just doing an AI build, a 223 Ackley. I'm going to run a 7, I think, try and get some 88s or something out of it.
Yeah.
See how that goes.
And this one's a 223 Wild, so it does a little better with those precision rounds.
Yeah.
I ended up putting a muzzle brake on that one. I redid the buffer spring weight, went through a bunch of iterations, dialing the system in, and it's just a real fun gun. There's essentially zero recoil, so you can really push that light projectile out to some extreme distance and get immediate feedback, because it is one of the guns that truly you never lose sight picture on it when you take a shot.
Yeah, very nice. Shit, yeah, you can see what you hit.
But that would be favorite AR for pistols. I've got everything from some concealed carry pistols like a SIG 365 and an officer size 1911, and then some competition pistols that I've dialed in. And then for shotties, I have a Benelli M2 tack shotgun with an 18.5 inch barrel that I had a buddy that was doing gunsmithing when I was in the oil industry. And that's probably what we built that gun up together. And that's kind of what really got me stuck into oh shit, this is real interesting. I can do this gunsmithing. I completely built out Benelli that I don't even want to think about how much money I have invested in that thing. But a lot of fun.
It is a very nice platform, actually. It would be nice to own one. But you're very lucky. Once again, that's another photo I received regularly once upon a time.
Yeah, I actually think if you see it, it's actually one of my home defense guns. You probably see it right up there on the wall.
Yeah. Nice. I think pretty much everyone over here in Australia is just like, holy shit, you can have some pretty nice guns compared to us.
Yeah. You can if you have the wallet for it. And there's certainly limitations. The regular person cannot own a full auto if it was made after 1986. So obviously any full auto that's made before then, they can't make any more. So those are a commodity and more of a investment for a lot of people now. Like you can still find some MP5s out there that are pre-86, but you're gonna be paying for about 45, 50 grand for one.
Holy shit.
Yep. I mean, other than that, we do have access, with the right paperwork to suppressors and short barrel rifles and shotguns.
This is something that we might have to get onto on another podcast, but that is the US gun laws. People think that, there's no checks, no this and that. there's still checks, isn't there? You still got to.
Oh yeah. We'll probably need to talk about this one on another time because we could definitely go down the rabbit hole on it. But yeah, no, there's absolutely a bunch of different checks. It's not saying there's not ways around them or shortcomings in any way, but you've got the same thing in Australia. There's always somehow somebody's going to work out how to get their hands on it if they're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are good, like there's legal means of acquiring this and the checks that are done.
Man, Australia's changed since you've been here, man. It's in some cases it's gotten harder, and other cases it's gotten easier. So things like pistols, fucking mate, it's pointless these days. Yeah, any sort of semi-license here is quite difficult. I mean, a primary producer now can get a shotgun and a 22 semi-automatic or pump, and that's it. And what was the other things? Oh, we have an appearance law here now too, which has changed. So, which in some states it's not overly strict. Other states are terrible. So like WA, if you have a chassis system, that's it. Looks like an AR-15. It must be an AR-15. And we all know that you can fucking destroy the world with an AR-15. So, yeah. You're sitting there going, well, I'm glad I got out of that shit.
Yeah. I just think I was like, well, fuck, how many chassis systems do I have in the safe right now? And they're on bolt guns.
Yeah, that's the ludicrous behind the walls, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it looks scary, but then you can have a timber stock on something that would blow a tree apart and no one bats an eyelid.
It's stupid, but that's the world we live in.
Yep. And look, honestly, it's been an outstanding podcast, mate. It's been so good to have you on. And unfortunately, we got to put it in there because time doesn't permit us. We could chat to you forever, man. So I think we'll have to catch back up again with you another time soon, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys getting me on here. I know we've been talking about it for a while. I'm glad we were actually able to make this happen and get the schedules to line up as much as they could.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
definitely. And it's good to talk to you after a while. So one day we'll get to the States and we'll have a few beers. We'll teach you how to drink again.
Gosh, I am a professional in that. So
I think that's a challenge, Josh.
I will give you a good run for your money.
Yeah.
Done. Let's make it up.
The end result, though, will probably be the next morning, us both being drastically hungover, going, fuck, that was stupid.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a fun night.
And where did the horse come from?
And why is there 4 to 5 AR-15s laying right next to us? Shit.
All right. We'll leave it there. Chris, thank you so much for your time, mate. It's been an absolute blast, and I hope everyone out there has enjoyed your story, which is quite phenomenal.
Thank you so much, man. I miss you.
Absolutely. No, very much appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. You can hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. Chuck us a like or a comment.
Just abuse us. I don't care. Do what you want.
Yeah, just talk to us. You can get any of us because we will monitor it. So you can always guess who it is or tell us who you hate.
Yeah,
it'd be nice.
Love your feedback on this episode with Chris, which has been absolutely outstanding.
It has been
absolutely blown away, mate. So thank you very much. Catch you soon.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Catch you, mate.
See ya.
Yeah.
G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses High Caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.